Well, hello everybody, and welcome again to Aquarius Rising Africa with me, Chantelle, and I have with me again the awesome Jay Matta from Gnostic TV. Jay, it's so good to see you again. How are you?
Good to be seen. Thank you very much. And it's great to see you also. I'm
It's
good.
always good to see you. I love our conversations, I must say. Whenever we get chatting, we bounce ideas and just amazing things start happening. So it's really good. Yeah,
Yeah,
wonderful.
for sure.
But Jay, you know what, I'm really, and I'm so happy that we're having this conversation today because I know you guys at Gnostic are very good at teaching creation, manifestation. And when I say teach, that's always a tricky word because everyone has within them what they already need. They don't really need to be taught anything new, more like reminded of
Right.
what's already in them, right? So I want to just maybe clarify that. So no one is learning anything new. We're really just reminding people of what's already available to them, right?
100%. Yeah. It's already embedded in us. And so programming is like a big comforter. It just covers everything. And all these things that normally you would come to the surface very easily, you got to dig deeper now. It's just that world we live in. You have to learn to dig deeper to get the answers than ever before.
Absolutely.
It's a real phenomenon. It is.
You know what I think? I think we're at the stage, and Bryce will call it moving into 4D positive or 4D negative, right? We're kind of like at that bottleneck stage in our timeline, our earthly timeline. We're moving, or depending on whatever calendar, we really, none of us really know for sure, but we either have just been in or in the process of moving into the age of Aquarius, which, as any woman knows who's given birth, that's a pretty painful thing. Giving birth is painful. There's labor pains beforehand, the birthing process, and then still like the postnatal stuff you've got to take care of. I kind of feel like we're really in that cycle. So we have a choice. Third D, 3D is all about free will and choice. So we have a choice every moment of every day about what path we're going to take, right? So that's where we're at right now, I feel. And so many people, because they're waking up to so many atrocities, I see this on my channel, with the satanic ritual abuse, the violence. I mean, it's just on another level. A lot of people are confused. They're running. They're getting caught up in all this truther community stuff where there's infiltrators and giving their power away to others and hoping this new financial system is going to come in and presidents are going to save them. You know what I'm saying? This is where we're at. So, what do you say to people about where we're at right now, and what would you say would be the next best step forward? Because I think we always have to just stand still and then decide which direction we want to take. What's your take on all of that? I know it's like many layers to that question.
I think that as far as, the proverbial savior complex, it's a lot easier for people to say, okay, well, someone's going to take care of my problems. But here we go again. We have another United States election coming on. Things start to change. Gas prices go up, they go down. I mean, it's like every time this always plays out. And I really feel like at some point in time, we as people, we tend to point the finger at someone else and say, well, they're going to do good for me or they're not going to do good for me. But at the end of the day, I think it's time for us to start to point the finger back at ourselves. Because if we allow that kind of behavior to continue, i.e., these people thinking that they're going to save us or do things or whatever, but we we keep fighting for them, where often a lot of times we don't know exactly what we're fighting for. The same result happens again and again. So I would say moving forward until you can get your shit straight is to disconnect from everything and just focus in, reacquaint yourself with yourself, being very think about it as a critical mission. Find out who the hell you are, find out what you're about. This, and I'm not saying disconnect from everything, but just be very careful that if anything takes you out of learning how to, for you not to be your optimum set yourself, then that's whatever you want to call it, the powers that be, the dark forces. It's taking you off your game. You have to stay in the present. You have to stay in the center. Moving forward, I believe it's going to be critical, which is why you know, I know we talked about this here before, which is exactly why we have shows, because when we're in shows, we're in that present moment. You know what I mean? When we're
Right.
like you and I right now, I'm not thinking 2 seconds ahead. I'm not thinking what just happened in that moment. And that's where you start to feel divinity. So I think people need to really learn moving forward. How do you live in the present? Not what's going to happen next week because it hasn't happened, not what already happened. So what? It happened right this second. That's how
Right.
you divinity. Otherwise, you lose divinity from that, from my experience.
Eric, Eckhart Tolle writes the book called The Power of Now, and I'm sure you probably have read it, where that for me was, and I'll never forget, I read it in June 2005. That for me was, I've had a few life-changing books appear on my path along the line. That was one of them. Because I think what you're saying is so true. We have to learn to be more present. We have to learn to be more in this moment. When we look at our past, and yes, the past can be a great predictor of the future, but only if we allow it.
Only if you allow
If
it.
our past is not in harmony with where we want to be or who we want to be, it's up to us to choose to let that go, to choose to not focus on that, to choose to learn from that, to choose to transform those energies, right? Because the only way out of this is through transformation and not transmutation. There's a difference. Transformation is full transformation from out of the lead into the gold, so to speak. Transmutation goes from love to hate, hate to love, love to hate. You can be on any one of that spectrum. And that's what most people do. They transmute their energies. And that's why it's not permanent, because they're not getting to the crux of what the matter really, really, really is, where the full transformation occurs. And I think that's what we need to be looking at more than anything. It's a spiritual journey. It's understanding that we are created from the divine spark. We are here for a purpose and a reason. The light of God is alive and well in us. It's up to us to spark it up and to ignite it and for it to guide our way. But to get to that point, again, one has to move through a lot of blockages, because we ourselves have created a lot of blockages in our lives. And yes, I know that's always debatable when I say ourselves, because if you're a child and you're molested and abused, absolutely, I'm putting that aside for now. But as an adult, it is your responsibility to transform those energies. And the only way we're going to transform it is to understand the gift in every experience. And that's not an easy thing to do. But when we get there, that's when miracles happen. I don't know what your take on that is, and especially when it comes to manifestation and creation, right?
It's not an easy thing to do, but it has to be done. So, we spend our lives worrying about what other people think of us that we'll never meet in our lifetime. That we don't know. We spend our lives asking people their opinions on where they have no knowledge about it, or they have no indicators about how it's going to be. We spend our lives talking about asking people about success when they're not successful. So we have to learn to switch that paradigm. I mean, the roadmap's not that hard. I mean, if you want success, talk to successful people. If you want to be healthy, talk to
Exactly.
healthy people. I mean, it's just not that difficult. But for whatever reason, it's like people who are looking for success will go to the pool of people who are not ready for success, or not available to it. It's almost like there's this it's not even fear of failure. It's almost like fear of success. It's almost like that, well, what if I do make it? Then maybe I won't
Right.
have a connection with these people anymore. I'm here to tell you that happens in life, but you know, there's another group of people that are cheering you on, that they're just waiting for you. I mean, if you can believe that there's another group of people out there that you may not have met yet that are just waiting for you to open your voice, for your star to shine. They're waiting to embrace you, because when they embrace you, it's going to make their star shine. And maybe that's time to let go of that people that just are not resonating with you. And I don't mean anything
Absolutely.
bad against these people. I'm simply saying there's something called a vibrational match. They're either the frequency or
Yes.
they're not. You got to move. You got to go. You got to go. You know?
Exactly. And I think there's this common misperception that when we talk about frequencies and vibrations, that it's a new age theory. Well, in anyway, I have it on good authority now. The new age actually started about 2,000 years ago, actually the beginning of the age of Pisces. So that's actually when it began. But my point is that everything is energy. And in this realm, we live according to laws of this dimension, right? Third dimension has certain vibrational energies with which we work, and there's certain laws that go according with them. So if you break the laws, you're going to have to answer to nature. And I think because, what we tend to do, the minute we start working in harmony with nature, in other words, going with the flow, sitting in your boat down the river paddling, not feeling like you're drowning in the stormy river, right? Where you feel like you're in control of the flow, you can stop, you can move, you can get up, you're moving in harmony. You're not like what are those fish that jump up against the waterfall?
Yeah.
Is it a
Yeah.
trout?
Like
Is it a trout?
salmon or something or trout. Yeah.
Yeah, salmon, that's right. So like we're not feeling like you're going against everything. But
Right.
I think we've been so indoctrinated to believing that we are born into poverty. We have
Yeah.
this insane, the majority of this planet has this insane poverty consciousness. And it's been indoctrinated into us. But, and I know you and I were talking about this. I would love for us to talk, and I know we're actually looking at doing stuff together on that, but maybe just to expand on, because I know you guys are great creators of your world and you're great manifestors. So it's so good to know that as a spiritual person, because I've noticed in the past more than 20 plus years, I've been one of the fortunate ones. As I've started doing my spiritual work, I've never ever had to take on a second job. In fact, I did pretty well. I traveled, I created my own stuff. I've got clients, students, kids, teachers, everything. And therefore, I knew that I was on the right track. I knew it. Everything was telling me, because it's never been taught to me. It's something I created. It comes from my own inner being. So it made me realize along the way how many people doing spiritual work, whether it's religious or whether it's spiritual, they battle financially. It's like they really battle. We've got this unconscious poverty consciousness. Maybe we can talk to that if you have anything, and then we can sort of look at how we can combat that.
Well, it's an epidemic, that's for sure. I mean, living in that world, being in that world, being privileged to be in that world of meeting some of the best amazing spiritual beings, soul brothers and sisters. You're right though, there's a lot of the guilt. Like I like what I hear. Okay, so just on the surface, so everybody gets to know me. I personally come from a world of you're goddamn right. We deserve it all. Get your share and grab it because it's yours. So think in terms of that, right? I think people generally they are very afraid of admitting it that they want it. Like I see people like on shows, they'll talk and they'll be like, "Well, you know, I'm talking about a product, but I'm not trying to sell you something." Or they'll say stuff like, "Or I would never do that." Well, yes, you would. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to thrive for you and your family. You're supposed to sell stuff to you. That's what we all do. We do things. I mean, and I don't know why people are so embarrassed about that. And I also want to go a step further. I also tell a lot of the spiritual healers and people out there, I'm like, look, are you sure that you're tapping into the right source if you're telling your client that it's this? I said, because, and I'm not disputing anybody's gifts. I'm not saying that people don't channel something, but are you sure you're tuned into the right one? Because you know, I don't give readings for people, but I'm pretty sure that I think there's a divine world out there. I understand people have hard times, but I also believe that we can have the best of times for those who get through it. So I think if, you know, I like to challenge our spiritual guides and healers out there and say, look, you know what? If you're in the business of giving spiritual advice, keep your personal views out of it for real. I mean,
Totally,
I really would
totally.
keep your views out of it because that's not fair to that person. Because if someone's paying you money to say, tell me what my job's going to look like, but your value is, well, the world's suffering right now, or, you know, where you still got a little bit more suffering to do before you get there, you know, that's bullshit. That's not right. That's someone else's value. You can't do that. If someone's coming to you with an exchange, I would say get it straight, tap in, learn to disconnect or take a break from your trade until you can realize that you can give very objective advice. It's too easy
Exactly.
for people to, spiritual people I see, put their values on other people. And I had someone call me the other day.
I
What are you doing through these difficult times? I'm like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, I like, you know, I just choose not to. I choose not to. I'm not naive to it, but I'm refusing to not sit there and dwell and stare at it either. I'm going to fight my way through it.
Absolutely, and I think that's so important because when we realize that everything is vibrational, and
Yeah,
we don't just realize it there, we actually integrate it into every cell of your being. It becomes second nature to know that it doesn't serve you to cheat others because you might get away for it for 5 years, but oh boy, when because that's a manipulation. Lying and cheating is a manipulation of energy. And at some point, that manipulation is going to break free, and everything that is attached to that is going to be exposed, right?
right. Yeah,
So, so when we're in truth, there's no one can argue with the truth. It's like I say, yeah, I feel like crap today. I look like crap today. So don't think whatever, I'm sick, whatever. Yeah, no one argues with that. It's like an acknowledgement of truth type thing. When we acknowledge the truth, no one can argue with it. You don't forget what the truth is. You live by it. And when we understand the value of telling the truth and being in truth, that's when we start creating on a whole nother level. We don't try anymore. We are in alignment with God or source or your divine creator. It's an alignment. It's a joyful thing. And it doesn't mean we don't have problems or issues or challenges along the way, but just the way we deal with them is pretty different. We don't go into panic and crisis and run around and want to shoot people.
listen, I mean, you know, it's not. Listen, money and wealth is not the most important thing, but it makes the stuff that happens in life a little bit easier sometimes. Let's just be real about
Right,
it. I mean, it just,
right.
it just makes things easier. I mean, and I look at it as like as far as in co-creation, Shanti, as far as in manifestation, I look at if we denounce money and relate it to something, I believe and my personal view on it is I believe it's a gift from our source to be able to
Right.
thrive in this planet, if you would, or this dimension. And I believe when we denounce it, we denounce our source. So if people can start to take a look at the association of not so much like, oh, only money is what it is. Like anything in life, you can overeat, you can overdrink, everything in moderation, right? But if you start to look at your association with it and think of it as a bad thing, then I believe you're denouncing your source, because this was a gift from your source
Yes,
to say, here you go. I'm
exactly.
giving you tools to have a great time in this world. And
Exactly.
you don't do
Exactly.
that, yeah, you're losing your gifts.
And, a lot of people hate money because whatever. And I'm going, well, I have this saying, and I had a preacher heard it say, I love money and money loves me.
Yeah, yeah,
Think about this. If you love something, it's going to come to you. If you love something, you're going to want to go to it. If you hate it or reject it, it's going to bounce off you. Yet, it's the single thing we need to thrive in this world right now. And
yeah,
yes, is it a long-term thing? No. Right now, we have all agreed to be on this planet at this time, and money is our trading
yeah.
currency. So until such time that we've mastered that, we're going to have to work with money until we've understood a different currency. And the whole thing is people have so much fear around money. Fear is false evidence appearing real because they've had this poverty consciousness indoctrinated into them. So need it, want it, crave it so much that they push it so far away. Do not believe it's part of their reality. Do not believe that they can even get it on their own. So they've got to steal and cheat and lie and do whatever. It's such a contorted energy system. a matrix
Yeah,
that,
it's
but when
weird.
we
It's
get out
weird.
of it, yeah, but when we get it and we understand money is something completely unemotional, you don't have to be a good person to have money or a bad person to have money. You just have to align and understand your value. You have to understand your value, and money will align to that value. And if you've got hidden blockages from childhood or whatever around money, it's not going to come to you. Your shadow work needs to be done. You need to
Yeah.
believe you deserve, that you are of value. You use it for things that are, I mean, I love spending money on everyone. I love giving, you know what I'm saying? If I always say to my son and my granddaughter, hey, when it goes well with me, it goes well with you as well. You know?
Right, exactly.
Then we flush, boy. It's like enjoy it while we're here. And I've never been kicked out for not paying rent. I've always had food. I've always been provided for. Always, no matter what.
And I think when people say they hate
Well
money,
provided for.
it's
Yeah.
when people, I believe, say they hate money, I believe it's that what they're really saying is they hate not having it. And because they don't have
Right.
it, they hate it. So if you have it, I believe you have a very different definition of what that money means for you. So, and this is not judgment for those who don't have it or don't have what they want. What we're trying to get across here is that have the courage to admit that you want it. That's the first step in recovery, broke recovery. Have the courage to admit that you want it. Surround yourself with the people that have it, and then now start to manifest and start to work in that dream. Because we are the company we keep often, and so and again, I see this as over and over and over again. Water seeks its own level. Birds of a feather flock together. I mean, you could use 1,000 analogies here, but the reality is that if you don't do it for yourself, think about the people that rely upon you. Maybe you have children that you would like to have in the nicest schools, or grandchildren that you would like to leave a nice legacy for, or you just, maybe it's something you just want to, whatever. I mean, they're just do it. Look at the people around you. Maybe you take care of parents, and you just need money for these things. So, and you know what? It is what it is. It's a very, very good thing. And I would say to people, stop saying things like you're not in it. Stop saying, well, only though, oh, those are the other people. You have to learn to live like that and learn to realize that maybe we were on board here with the same rules of engagement. A few of us seem to have mastered it. You know what I mean? So learn
Right.
about what those people are mastering, and don't look at judging them because they master it. Look at them and say, what the hell did they figure out? And let me find out more about that, versus pointing the finger and be like, oh, I bet you they did something wrong because they're not like the rest of us. That's not right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that seems to be the common mentality.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think the more of us who can understand that we just have to, it's not what we do, but more about how we feel, because your emotions are your fuel. So when we change how we feel, we change our perception on things. Our entire frequency shifts, it lifts, and we then automatically attract to us more abundance, more opportunities. It happens of itself, but we have to set the intention. It's like you set the intention to open the pathway to move there. But in order to get there, you have to work with what's in here. This is the key, what's in here. And when we can release ourselves of our soul chains, right? That's when we will become the powerful and masterful creators again that we were many, many millennia ago. And it's not about material things, guys. We talk about this. A lot of people see this as a material thing. No. It's like a kid when they start getting toys, right? So first, when people start manifesting, oh, I want a car, I want a boat, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But a lot of people will do it on a more material level. You could manifest for spiritual abundance. You could manifest for work, whatever, family, relationships, health, could work in anywhere. But as we realize the more we realize when we're in alignment with our source creator, how powerful we are. And it's not a power like that. It's a power of humility, it's kindness, it's compassion. You realize the power you have to change someone's life with a smile, by giving them $50, whatever it might be. You know, you have that. I mean, whenever I give a street person money, I always give them paper money. I don't give them coins. And I always look them in the eye and I tell them, that's so cool. Have a good day. And I give them a sizable amount because that's the intention for me. You know, I want them to feel good and happy, and I want them to get more. You know, I want every person that walks past them to double that. You know what I mean? What an awesome experience. And I think if everyone could have that, instead of looking on what we don't have, let's look at what we do have and how we can create that if we don't have it yet. We become masters of our journeys then. And I think that's the beauty of creation, is that we're always on a journey. There's never an end. When we get to what we think is the end, something else wonderful opens up again.
Exactly, something else wonderful. So, you know, and I like, you know, you take a look at traditional religion in its form, and then as a result of that, you get a lot of the new age ways of thinking, you know, that are trying to do that. But if you decipher in all the stuff that they're both saying, it's very similar. Right? It's a lot of the same similar belief systems. It's a lot of the same things. Maybe they change the names, if you would, of the characters in the play. But one of the things I see a lot of is you see a lot of this, the light is one, the light is one, the light is one, the light is one. I'm here to tell you we have light and dark within us. So the light in itself can never win. So when you keep saying the light is winning, you're denouncing the dark part of you. And the dark part does not necessarily mean evil. It's just a dark part, but it's where you muster up that, it's that place in your soul, your spirit, where you muster up that survival instinct, that will to thrive, that everything there. You know, when you keep saying the light is one, and you're shutting down your power. That darkness is powerful for you, and it does not mean that you're dark like as a satanic worshiper or anything like that. I don't mean it in that context. I mean it in the sense that we have it in us, and if we learn how to use it properly, that's where you manifest. You manifest from that place of it's 0 point
Yes,
neutrality, if you would. The dark
right.
places doesn't mean you're going to the depths of hell, but like you call it shadow work. So I always say, you know what? Maybe try not calling yourself a light worker, call yourself a gray worker. You know what I mean? And just
I'm a
try to
shadow worker.
shadow worker, even better. You know what I mean? Or just even better, but don't be too extreme, because when you start to realize it, you'll start to realize what's possible for you and that you're a divine spirit. And that's the purpose of this whole thing, is to realize that we are divine spirits. And if anything else makes you feel any different, what are you going to do? You're going to sit on your knees and say, oh my God, if you do this for me, I'll never let that happen again, or I'll never do that again. Well, how does that work out? Honestly, you know what I mean? And I'm not denouncing people's faith. All I'm saying, at some point in time, wake up. Okay, these things, forget about it all now. They're games that are being played with us. Take control of your existence, claim your power back. Do it. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for those children, those people that you love, that are relying on you and needing you
Exactly.
to thrive in your life right now. You know?
Exactly. And it's so true because, you know, to say that I'm never going to do it again,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
at least our creator knows we are flawed and we are on our path. We're like kids learning how to walk. We crawl, we fall, we cut ourselves, we whack each other. You
Oh
know,
my
we
God, yeah.
fight, we pull hair.
Can you imagine the possibility, if it exists, like they say, we're up watching the movie of our life and we didn't seize the opportunities that were in front of us, even the opportunities that made it feel like, oh my God, I'll never do that again. But like we missed all these fun times in our lives because we were thought like, well, what if that people that we never will ever meet in our lives, what will they think of these people? Who the hell cares what they think? Let them live their own stuff. They're their own drama.
Exactly.
Believe me, everybody's got their
Exactly.
own shit to worry about. So, so think about it like, live, you know, do good things, yeah, but live life with no regrets either. You know, have no
Exactly.
regrets. I mean, have no regrets.
And
Live your
know,
life.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
and know that the Holy Spirit or the Christ light or Christ lives within you and is guiding you every second of every day.
Yeah.
And you will know that once you tap into your inner essence, you will know that. You will
Yeah.
know that, and you will never ever feel alone again. You will never think that you can't achieve anything again. Doesn't mean you don't doubt yourself. It doesn't mean you don't get scared. It doesn't mean that you don't second guess things. But when you take yourself back into that place of quietude and connection, you are always, always guided to the next best step. Jay, I've loved chatting to you again, and I know that I want to just maybe in closing, if you can speak about what we're going to be doing
Yeah.
in the
So
near future.
in the spirit of what we're going to be doing is Shanti and I are wanting to help. Okay. So we obviously, you see us here on these videos, you see us have our shows and we talk about different things and we prosper well. And so we would like to share that gift with you. Okay. We'd like to share with you exactly what we do, how we're doing it, and have you do what we're doing. Find your voice, have a show, have a network like this, whatever it is you're doing. We'd like to teach you that world because it's a solution that allows us to talk to you, to be able to communicate like this. It's a solution that allows us to find peace in our lives. It's a solution that allows us to have multiple streams of income from one thing. Okay.
Yes,
So these are really good things, what we've been able to tap into. And, our way to be able to just say, hey, look, we feel like we cracked the code. You should contact us if you feel like, we're going to be putting together a class, a master class to teach you people on this. Those who want to, okay? Those who are ready for like, I can't work another day at my job. I can't work any more jobs because I don't have enough hours. But I still want multiple streams of income. Those who need to find their purpose in life, you know what I mean? What is my voice? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? We are going to work with you and show you how what we do encompasses mind, body, spirit, and prosperity all the way through. So we'll be holding a master class coming up, and we'd like to talk to you to see first if there's an energetic match. So my information will be in the description below. You can email me at j@gnostictv.com and just mention the Shanti. Just put Shanti Show in your contact information, and I'm happy to get on a call with you to talk about what it is your vision, what it is you're doing, and see if you're a fit for our program. And it's really going to be as simple as that. You're looking in real life, everybody, in what's working. So we're here to say to you, we want to help.
absolutely.
That's it.
this this really is a time, of the new world, and I've got to be so careful how I say that because I realize how often I'm misunderstood when I say that. But it's the time of the new energy coming in, where it's like, if you think about the internet, where we're looking at social media and we're looking at network marketing when it's done properly, it's like we are the internet manifested. We are all connecting with each other. We don't need to be working for big corporations anymore. We don't need shitty bosses telling us how to do things, making us all these pseudo promises of you'll have this and this and you've got to work here until you're 70 and then you'll get that. You're not limited. You're not restricted. You're free to be who you are. This is the time. This is what the Aquarius energy is all about. You're individual, you're strong, you're free. You're not running around killing things and burning things. Freedom is a place that is strong and stable and secure within yourself, where you know that anything is possible that you choose in your life. You just got to find your intention and get yourself to that point. And it's a beautiful process of unfolding. So I look forward to that. I look forward to working with you, Jay. It's going to be great. It's a beautiful new beginning. And for people who want to start their own channels, finding their voices, getting involved in a lot of the sort of the networking opportunities that we have here as well. It's just an amazing time to actually connect and network. And, as Rumi says, we're all just walking each other home.
We're all just walking each other home.
No, that was Ramdas. Sorry, that wasn't Rumi. That was Ramdas. Sorry.
Whoever said it was good. It's a good line.
Yeah.
You find your community, you find your soul tribe, and you'll find your divinity. It's a very fast way to find your divinity. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jay.
It's
great. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in and for watching. And I'll be leaving all Jay's information in the description area below. And watch the space. We're doing some very, very cool things on Gnostic TV. I'm already joined on that side. I'm still kind of getting myself sorted there, but you're going to see me on there very, 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 very soon. And I look forward to that as well. I look forward to starting the journey with you guys, Jay. I really, really do. So thank you so much. God bless everyone. Take care of you. Cherry vibes.